everyone, welcome back to Wolf Woodworking and Laser Engraving. I'm your host, and yeah, we're gonna be doing some more hobbyist stuff today. It's been a while. Last thing I did, there was actually some concerns that was brought up in the comment section, and I am gonna address them right now. Now, on the last video that I did was in the winter, right? It was around November, December of last year. It was in regards to me working my wood lathe. If you guys don't know what a wood lathe is, it's this lovely little machine. Basically, I can put a chunk of wood on here and actually turn it and make it into something lovely like a bowl or a Christmas tree or something else that is round. Now, I do want to address a big major thing that you guys had concern about. It was my safety and how I was conducting myself. Now, I do want to make this out so you guys know I am not professionally trained. The stuff that I did learn in regards to turning wood bowls, I actually learned in wood shop in high school, which was many years ago. And even that, it was really not that much. You know, he taught us the basic safety and some stuff that we could do with the tools. Mostly we're just kind of like left to figure it out for ourselves. Not saying he was a bad instructor, but he didn't really give us too much instruction unless we asked for it. But my big thing is safety, right? Now, I am a hobbyist. I am not a professional, like I always said. So when you guys make a comment, I really do want to hear you guys out, and I want to adjust my performance so that I don't do it again. So one of the major things that was talked about and was addressed is actually how to sharpen my tools. And I addressed that by actually installing my grinder, which actually my benchtop grinder, which I did own, but it wasn't secure. So I actually secured it down, and I got a specialized grinding setup for it. So all I have to do is put those items on here, right? Attach it like so, make some adjustments, and then I can sharpen my lathe tool. I'm trying to actually see the screen so I can see what I'm doing. So my big thing is that do as I say, not as I do. I'm very big on safety. In fact, I actually ran OSHA regulations in regard to one of my companies that I used to work for. That's right, I was in charge of all the safety procedures and everything like that. So I do take safety seriously. And in regards to, you know, being in a wood shop and working in a workshop, I really don't know all the procedures. And I really do wish I had experience in a wood shop. But unfortunately, the wood shops that I know around here are all cabinet making wood shops, which aren't bad, but I'm more interested in making bowls and like actual furniture and stuff like that. But hey, you know, it's where I live. Anyway, so on this hobbyist channel, what we're going to be actually working on today is actually my fish pond. Now, if you guys never actually seen my fish pond here, this has actually been here for a number of years now. And one of the things that I have to change out is actually the filter bucket, which is this lovely thing here. Now, what's going on with my filter bucket is that it has a crack in the lining, right? In fact, this is the light bulb for it. So this light bulb would be in here, right? And if you look in there, that's water. That is no good. And this light bulb was sitting in that water. So there is a literal crack in there. So what I'm going to be doing is actually removing this and replacing it with a brand new one. I got a bigger one over here in this lovely box here. We're going to replace it with that. So there is going to be a number of things that I'm going to be working on. And now, yes, the channel is called Woodworking and Laser Engraving, but this is more of my hobby channel in comparison to my gaming channel, Command Wolf Gaming. But it's just to kind of like keep myself going, keep myself sane. And maybe you guys learn, maybe you guys got comments, maybe to improve some stuff. I'm willing to hear you guys out. I just be very patient with me. A lot of the stuff that I don't know, I am willing to learn. I'm always willing to learn new things. Just take it easy, please, in the comments. Anyway, so first things I got to do is actually I got to unplug this, which is very simple. Now, I am just unplugging the pump, which is in the pond. You can't see it beyond my fish, right? But I'm unplugging it to prevent, obviously, the bucket from overfilling. Next, I just basically gotta unwrap the box here. Let me open my tripod up. Whoop. I'm gonna put you guys right here, okay? So, this is the box I got. Now, like I said before, I'm a big proponent of safety, you know, being very safe and conducting yourself and not hurting yourself. So whenever you're working on something, make sure you're very careful. Like for instance, using a knife, make sure you're cutting away from yourself. And I really didn't do that, but make sure you cut away from yourself. Make sure you're not stabbing it into anybody. So if anybody close by, you're not accidentally poking them with it. You just kind of want to be careful with that. So let's get this out. 1, 2, oh, oh boy. And this is the filter bucket that we got. So this is actually bigger than what we have. Sorry, I keep hitting that just to make sure that it's on. This is much bigger than what we have. The one that I have currently is 5, and this should be a 10. Obviously it is 10. Let me move this out of the way. And then we're gonna pull this out. Very good. All right, some of you might be wondering, why didn't I just change out the light bulb? The reason being I didn't change out the light bulb is because it's literally inside that is cracked. Let me kind of pop this open so you guys can see. There you go. So as you can see, this is the housing, right? And the water goes up into here. So what happens is that the UV light that's in this system here, right, as you can see there, take that out for now, it lights up in there and it kills the bacteria that is in the water. Now there is good bacteria and there's bad bacteria. This actually targets both. Regardless, there's no real way of targeting this or that. It's usually just kind of a crapshoot, but mostly it kills the bad bacteria. There is good bacteria that we are going to need. In fact, I'm going to be even using the water out of that filter bucket over there, because when you're doing a filter exchange or anything with water in regards to fish ponds or your fish tank or anything like that, you want to have the bacteria that's already in the water stay in the water, right? So when you're switching out your filters or your pumps or something like that, you don't want to completely drain out all the old water. You want to keep some of it in there so all the good bacteria that it's in there propagates back into the water. So whatever replacement water you do or whatever you have to replace, it's still good. So let me put this back over here. Now I know that because I used to actually have a indoor fish tank, and obviously I have this big one out here. Now I do have a bunch of components here, but I think what I'm going to do is just transfer the old stuff onto this new one. I just got to move that over here. So let's go over there, get that addressed. I don't need anything other than myself. So I did something real quick. I loosened these hose clamps up, right? So that we can get at the tape that I have on here. Now, I usually put tape on here on the inlet and outlet to prevent as much leakage as possible. Typically, you really don't have to, right? You can use plumber's tape or whatever, but I use basic electrical tape to make sure that we got a good seal. There we go. And it's easier actually to get off. Let me pull this off. In fact, I can actually kind of feel like that's a little worn out. All right, that's one. Now this is a different type of electrical tape here, right? As you can see here, this is white. This is a silicone based rubber tape I actually like to use, especially on the outlet, because then it actually helps seal the water. This is really supposed to be used for electrical, right? But I just feel like it's always a good insulator on regardless what you're doing. So unfortunately, I have to cut this off so I can get this open. All right, got it off. And see, there is a little bit of water in there, but since this is such, it's rubbery and everything, it really stretches. It actually sealed it up very, very nicely. So, all right, so 1, 2, 3, alley-oop. I'm probably gonna have a little bit of leakage over there. So let me move this bucket back over to the new one. Here we are once again. You see me again? So, just double checking. Yep, there we go. So, inlet, that's out. It says it right on top, in, out. This is reversed because this is supposed to be in and that's out. So, when I installed this, it was incorrect. Still worked, but incorrectly installed. That might have been one of the reasons why it failed. Good to know. Now we know not to do it next time. So, as you can see in here, all that algae, I'm not sure if you guys can really see that. That's actually good. We kind of want to leave it in there. Again, good bacterial growth along with bad bacterial growth, but we want a bacterial growth that will help the pond. Again, we're not really gonna do too much cleaning with the pond itself. We're just gonna have it as it is. Where's the tape? Now, for those who want this silicone white tape, it is made pro grade silicone tape. I am not by Proxycast. I am not sponsored by this. I just love using the product. I just feel like it creates a better seal than if I use regular tape or anything else. So it's actually in 2 parts. Basically, you roll it out and then you got to peel off the back. That's what creates the stickiness. Not really like sticky, but it will stick to itself. So I kind of want to get a feel for it. A little more than I think it will be. Cut that off. And then this is what I love about it. Watch, stretch, and there you go. Instant bind. It's bound to itself, so it'll be very, very hard for any leaks to happen. Now, this is a big inconvenience as well. So like if I'm in the middle of winter, right, or if I have to fix something later, I would have to cut it off, right? But this is just to prevent water leakage. This is not supposed to do anything else. Again, you can I use regular electrical tape as well. Just do it once around just to kind of seal it up here. Like so. Just to kind of prevent that other tape from loosening up. It usually does stick to itself pretty well, so I'm not really worried about that. Okay, that's good. Then on this side, gonna do the same thing. All right, so now that we got that swapped out, pull this up. I am going to take this, you know what, I'll leave that in there just in case. So the next thing we got to do, we're going to just transfer the water from bucket A to bucket B. Let me just move some stuff out of the way here. Yep. And there you go. Throw that over there. So let me show you. This is a filter bucket filled with crud. That crud is both good bacteria, bad bacteria, and algae growth. And in fact, the UV light actually does diminish the algae growth as well, depending on what cycle you have, especially with this model, because it has like a 24-hour, 12-hour, and like a 6-hour running time. During the summer, right, I usually put it on the 24-hour setting just for the simple fact that it's in direct sunlight. So, and really the sun goes from that direction, kind of comes directly over our house in line with it. So a lot of light exposure to here, and that promotes too much algae growth. So what I'm going to do now is basically take this and try not to get out of my feet. Okay, it smells terrible, terrible, guys. If you never, if you ever went to like not a zoo, a aquarium, right? It smells so bad, and it's so concentrated, and some of this stuff is just like stuck together, right? Oh. Okay, that's enough. All right, I got enough water in here. Now the thing is, I got a bunch of algae balls in here. We kind of want to transfer as many over as possible, but I'm gonna really clean this out first because we got enough water-based algae in here for now, and I got a whole bunch of replacement balls as well. So let me move this over to a drain. Gotta come back for you guys. I can't leave you guys hanging. You want to see all this mushy mush that comes out of here. And remember, this is just algae growth and actually basically fish poop. So what we're gonna do is a very basic process here. I'm gonna take the hose and we're just gonna clean the rest of this out. As you can see there, right? That's all the crap that this filter bucket builds up. And this is usually a year's worth. I usually change this out every single year, just for the simple fact that the fall and winter, you're not gonna see as much algae growth because of the sunlight, and obviously the fish are gonna be eating the algae. You're not really gonna feed the fish during the winter. They're gonna kind of go dormant. We do every once in a while just to make sure that they are getting food, but they're really gonna be eating the regular algae that builds up. So, you guys are missing the good shot. Let me get you guys closer to down here so you guys can see all the glory that is the mush that comes out. Look at all that mush stuck together. You guys seen that? I'm hoping you guys have seen that. Yep. So I would usually try to get as much of this out. In fact, a lot of this just is clumping out. So I'm gonna do some just removal by hand, right? And I am just gonna take this stuff and kind of push it back in. So whatever the big stuff comes off, right? Like this huge chunk, right? I'm just gonna leave it here to be broken up, obviously over a time, and just take all these little, what they call bio balls, right? And yes, this is kind of a nasty job of owning a pond or even a aquarium. All right, guys, clean now? Yeah, you look good. All right, cool. So now that we're back to our new bucket, we're just gonna take the bio balls, throw them back in there. Now, they did give us a significant amount of bio balls. I don't believe we have to use them all, but I will put some more bio balls in here. Just, I'm sure it would tell me like use X amount of bio balls or whatever. In fact, I'm gonna read the manual. Okay, so just taking a quick look, it looks at like you want to do kind of like half bio balls, half water, right? I can probably do one more bag. Nope. Okay, that's good. All right, so now, there we go. It's almost done. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna move it back over to where we need to go. Okay, we're almost done. So last thing we gotta do is reinstall this bad boy. So let's go over here. Okay, so I know which way to place this because over here you can see this actually helps you release the bucket when it's under pressure or it's in a vacuum. So that's how I knew it was, you know, where to put it. And all we have to do is seal this up. Go. Now, if we take a look inside here, there is no water. That's what we want. We don't want any water hitting up against that light because then we got a leak going on. So, gonna put that back in there. Gotta get the hoses connected again into the right format this time. Okay. Again, some more silicone rubber tape stuff. This is what I'm talking about. I will tighten that up with a screwdriver. I'm just tightening it up with a alligator socket for now, just to kind of get it a little bit tight on there. It's kind of at an angle, so I'll fix that. Okay, now that we got it tightened up, we're gonna go get a flathead screwdriver and finish tightening up. Now, when you guys put something together, right, and it says hand tight is around 6 to 8 inch pounds, right? Which on your drill, I usually go for the higher. These are inch pounds. When you're doing like a regular drill, like you're drilling into wood, you want to put it on the drill setting and put it onto the high speed. All right, I'm back. So I actually made one mistake, and I'm going to admit to this. I forgot to make an adjustment on the top. So on the top here, you have clean and run. I had it on clean. Now what clean does is basically it siphons the water out, as in it pushes the water out to a different tube for disposal. That's when you're like really like deep cleaning, right? Again, you want to try to keep as much good and bacteria and bad bacteria in your pond. So luckily for me, it started to work again. Now, as you can see, that is really filthy, super filthy right now. But we're gonna let this sit. We're gonna let it run for 24 hours, try to get it start working. We're gonna fill up the pond with a little bit more water. Doesn't really need that much, right? But just a little bit more water to top it off. It is hot here in New Jersey, like scorching hot. So that is why I'm gonna fill it up just a bit, just because my pond being in direct sunlight, it's gonna really dry up pretty dang quickly. So all I'm gonna do, I'll fix that tape. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna put you guys like that. Sorry if you're cockeyed. I'm gonna plug this in like so. Now I just heard it engage. It did a little beep. Now I didn't do this, but my dad did. He took the wire, or what remained of the wire, because this is a very long wire, and we're just going to basically re-loop it around this faucet because it doesn't get used anyway. Probably a terrible idea, but again, this was my father's idea, and that's how the old one was, so I'm just going to do what my father did, even though that might be super, you know, bad. Let me know. I'm sure that somebody in the comment section will make a comment about it, so I'm gonna make this a little easier on me. They gave me 2 twist ties for this. I'm gonna tie that up and just tie it like that, so it's easier to take on and off when I need it. So we know this is engaged now. Right now it's on 24-hour cycle. That is what I want. I want a 24-hour cycle for it to be engaged, to continue cycling the water, and obviously having the UV run so it kills as much algae and the bad and good bacteria. I know I keep saying both at the same time. I should just say bacteria, but yeah. Now the last thing I got to do is I actually have a waterfall installation for this pond. I take it out during winter, and last year I did not install it, just for the simple fact it was just a terrible year, right? It was just too hot, too wet. Even today I'm kind of like dying of heat a bit. I'm actually recording late in the afternoon. It's around 5:30 right now, and I've been out here for maybe a half hour at most. It's disgusting. New Jersey is disgusting like this. So, whew. And yes, I am winded right now. So let's go back here. Got plenty of stuff back here. You want to see? I'm sure you want to see. A lot of pieces of wood back here. Got a lot of projects that I do want to work on this spring or this summer. I think it's summer right now. Can I say it's summer? I think it is summer. So that I want to work on. I actually want to kind of work on some coffee tables and stuff like that. I do have some big chunks of oak sitting right here. I do have this is called, I actually gotta put some more down. Detroit, I think it's called. That's what I think it's called. Actually, hold on, let me see. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I kind of want to give you guys some more information and kind of spread the love around. I'm sure some people will say this, that, or another thing. Go ahead, do it. I'll listen. Again, this is a hobby channel. This is not a I'm a professional channel. Ah, there it is. This diatomaceous earth. I think that's how it's spelled. D-I-A-T-O-M-A-C-E-O-U-S. Earth. This is actually great because it's actually good against insects, mostly crawling exoskeleton insects. So like spiders and ants and beetles and stuff like that. And I spread this, and what it does, it's just it provides grit, right? It sticks to the insects, and in comparison to soil is very loose, right? But it provides more grit against these types of insects, which kind of kills them off. It's like rubbing sandpaper against yourself, you know? And that's all it does. All right, let me get my... Oh. Get my waterfall installation here. Got to do a little bit of quick cleaning. Luckily, I left the hose on. Looks like the hose was cut off this too, so I'm gonna have to fix that too. It's fun knowing that you leave it and then it has to be fixed when you come back to it. Here we go. All right, we're back. All right, guys, we're back. Camera overheated again. That's how hot it is. All right, so the last thing I gotta do, obviously, is what I was doing before, and is actually installing my waterfall. So I cleaned it out. I really did like a deep clean on it, just because there was a lot of pine needles in there. Don't know how pine needles got in there, especially since it was like upside down all for a whole season, but that's besides the point. So as you can see, it's still a little murky. It has to work through the system. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit of time to settle down because now all the stuff is cavitated. Looks like it's going to rain. Good time to do this. Fantastic time to do this. All right, so I got to turn off the pump again. All right, pump is now off. So, and it's going to be a very simple install, or I'm hoping it'll be a simple install. I'm gonna put the camera down over here so you guys can still see me. Hello. Now we do have a bit of a problem here. I'll show you. And I'm stepping on a couple plants over here. That is because I'm falling over. This hose is vastly different size. Fortunately, I don't have another connection, so I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna make this work in the most terrible of fashions ever. I'm not using tape in it, everything. I use that afterwards for this case. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take it, just screw it down, and then I'll put the tape over it. Let me get this. All right, we have a bit of an issue. Can't really get it tightened up by hand, so I'm gonna get a flathead bit, and I'm gonna really tighten it up so that we can get it locked in there. Would be easier if I had the right coupling. I don't think I do. Well, I guess if I go back into the box the new one came in, and look in there, I probably would find the right coupling. Which we'll do also. Okay, got a flathead for now. So you gotta, not sure if this is gonna be compatible, but we'll take a look and see. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to really drill it down and like tighten the ever-living snafu out of it. Okay. Oh. And I'm sitting on plants right now, but that's what I can do right now. All right. This is what I didn't like. Nope. That's one. That's a two. Yeah. Plenty of regular couplers. Well, obviously it's made for that filter pump, but not the one I need. I don't even know if I have another attachment here that will work. Can I try something like, can I try to gluing these together? I think that's the only thing I'm gonna be able to do. Yeah, because these are not threaded, so they're not gonna fit. That does not help me. That is not good. All right, let's see what we can do here. All right, give me a second. I'm gonna see if I have some more of these couplers. I feel like I do. I don't know where the box is though, so I'm gonna go hunt around a little bit. Okay guys, we are back. I'm gonna try to make this quick. It's starting to rain out. So the last couple days, it's actually been incredibly hot. So this is the only day I was able to get back to my pond. Now I recorded this whole session, you know, installing my waterfall. In fact, you can see it is installed and working right now. So fantastic, it is working. Now, towards the end of the last video, when I was trying to get it installed, I realized that I didn't have the right connection, or I thought I didn't have the right connection. So I went and bought like a whole bunch of parts and pieces. Now, it didn't work out the way that I thought it was going to, because I also ended up realizing that I had in my workshop a 1-inch hose for the fish pond. Now, it didn't work out because that hose was only 6 feet and I need like 8 feet. So luckily I did buy a replacement 1-inch hose that was 10 feet. So I ended up cutting about 2 feet off there, and voila, now it's working. Just for the simple fact that I also realized that honestly, all I have to do is change the connection on the filter bucket in order to make it work. And that's, I didn't even have to do that. So for those that are not understanding, because I'm not really explaining it too well, because I'm worried that I'm gonna get rained on and my my GoPro keeps overheating. So I'm trying to rush through this. So the connection on the back of my waterfall is like 1 inch to 1.5 inches, and the hose that I had was 1.25 inches. We're talking about diameter size, right? So it was like that weird in-between size, and the connection on the back of the waterfall did not have it. Luckily for me, on the filter bucket side, the connection piece, so called a nipple, was 1 inch, 1.25 inches, and 1.5 inches. So I was able to connect the brand new 1-inch hose to it, and I don't have to do anything screwy like making weird couplers and stuff like that. Perfectly fine. Works now. Perfectly good. Now, I did realize also somehow, I don't know how I did it, and I did this with my previous filter bucket as well. I had the input and output swapped. So I fixed that. And now this has already been a couple days. As you can see, my hair is cut, my beard is trimmed, I look fresher, my shirt is changed. The pond water that was coming out of the filter bucket was just brown. It was like dirty. And originally I was going to keep it in there and just kind of like let it settle out. But I've been cleaning that out using the filter bucket itself by swapping this over here to the clean mode, which is basically turning it this way and having this opened up there, so it was dumping out the side. So a lot of that brown crud that was in there got dumped out, so that worked. And obviously with my lovely waterfall here, this is actually a cool little waterfall. Well, it's not little, but cool waterfall, where it actually has a filter pad in there, right? In fact, I gotta buy some more filter pads because I am totally out. And so that filter pad is also catching a lot of that crud as well. It's just really the fine stuff that has to kind of like settle out now. I might do a little bit more backwashing just to clean it out. Now, again, I did record this whole section showing like the installation process, but for some reason the audio did not transfer when I took it, the SD card out of my GoPro and put it into my computer. Don't know why, it just didn't work. Now, I am taking notes from your comments, and I am adjusting things that I do. You guys got to remember, I'm a hobbyist. I am not an expert. I am not trying to tell you guys to do bad things purposefully. So please be patient with me. If you guys have suggestions, make sure I'll take suggestions all day long. You know, I'll listen to you guys. In fact, one of the major things that happened in the last video is that I had a lot of people commenting about how I was turning my wood bowls, and I listened. I looked it up, right? And I found something that worked for me. I sharpened up my tools, and now they're all sharp. They're all nice, and in fact, it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful to use. So, yay, yippee me. We will be getting back into wood bowl turning. I do actually have other projects that I got to get done first. In fact, I got to get like a little memorial piece done for my aunt's friend. So that'll be next on the channel. So yeah, but yeah, if guys remember, I'm a hobbyist. Some of you might have 20 years, 30 years, 40 years experience doing woodworking or this, that, and the other thing. Just be patient, you know? That's all I'm asking. You don't have to jump down people's throats. You know, I know there's plenty of people out there that give real people, you know, career people bad names, teaching bad ways to do things. I understand it. I totally understand it. But at the same time, you got to be patient with people, you know? So, I think he just leaves that unlocked. Anywho, so we will be getting back into woodworking and some other woodworking stuff. Again, this is a hobby channel. If you want to see me play like video games or like participate in a live stream, you can always check out my other channel, which is on Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, and also YouTube. It's called Command Wolf Gaming. I'm streaming Monday, Tuesday on all the channels, and Wednesday I'm streaming on Rumble and Twitch itself. Now, usually on Wednesday I am doing a VR thing with Rumble, but the last couple days, since it was so hot, it's been over 100 degrees. Some of you might be saying, oh, that's nothing. Trust me, it was bad here, to the point where our air conditioning was not working correctly. Like, it was set to 70 degrees and it was still reading 85 in the house. So that's how bad it was. So this is like the first day I was able to get to even work on the pond. Anywho, yeah, yesterday I ended up not being able to do VR, but I ended up playing something else just to kind of chill. I even had like my little swamp cooler set up on my brand new PC to just blow cold air at me. Oh boy, that's how bad it was. That's how hot it was. Just terrible. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you have any suggestions, leave it down below. I want to know from you guys with more experience on things that I could do and improve upon. I'm always willing to listen and learn. There's always something you can learn, and regardless if you're a beginner, advanced, or expert person, right? Or if you've been doing this for all your life, there's always something you can learn. And I learned that from martial arts, right? My instructor told us that even though he got his black belt, he's still continuing to learn, because it goes for a full circle where he wears that black belt out until it's white, and then he continues to learn and practice. So if you guys have any suggestions on how I can make this a little bit more beautiful, you know, make it more nice, please let me know. I'm in kind of like a tight budget right now, but if you guys have something cheap, maybe something that I could do, I don't know, maybe add lights or, you know, something, let me know. I know that the waterfall, that type of waterfall is supposed to be like installed in the wall, or like have a bunch of slaying around it. That's just what I couldn't afford right now, as in like design style, because slate is expensive, and obviously I don't have enough experience building a huge wall for that. But again, if you have any suggestions, leave it down below. I'm willing to hear you out. I want to know what you guys think, and thank you guys for tuning in. You all have a nice day. Bye.